When the shovel was first added to Remnant 2, it was quite unremarkable, even with its unique charged attack that can dig up ammo. But said attack was what brought attention to it, as some players assumed if it was used in the right location, it might uncover a secret item. With the release of the Dark Horizon DLC, this theory became a reality, being the method to obtain one of the 7 new prisms. But now that the mystery's been solved, the shovel loses what made it special, and most players will look to discard it the moment they find something better. I would like to change that, because the shovel has been hiding another secret, one that had remained undetected since it was first added to the game. And not only does the secret give the shovel a unique niche for general gameplay, but in the right hands, it could potentially be a viable new speedrunning tool. Let me explain. On screen is a regular melee attack versus a charged melee attack. Once you slow down the footage and compare them, notice how both have the same starting animation before the charge attack continues into its own starting position. This appears consistent with every melee weapon, even those with special melee charge attacks. However, compare the shovel to any other hammer type weapon and you see something odd. There is no sign of the regular hammer startup. That is because unlike every other weapon, the shovel starts with its charge attack animation, which then gets interrupted to perform the uncharged attack. Why is this important? For those who don't use melee very much, there are 2 things you should know. The first is that the recovery of dodges can be cancelled with a melee attack. For light and heavy rolls this is barely noticeable, but it is very noticeable for either medium rolls or the special Misty Step dodge. The second is that you can cancel the startup of a melee charge attack by dodging, and since the shovel starts with its charge, the window to cancel with a dodge becomes active on frame 1 of the attack. In short, it means you can do this. This is what I like to refer to as the shovel step. It's a variation on the same interaction done using the sealed resin loop, but sacrificing the melee weapon slot for a much more valuable ring slot. The easiest example of this benefit would be in a setup for max evade speed Misty Step. You could replace the sealed resin loop with the bisected ring so that dodges no longer consume HP. The only downside compared to sealed resin loop is shovel step does not work with the neutral dodge since that uses the regular hammer slam attack. Shovel Step provides benefits to 3 types of builds: evasion, grey health, and close quarters combat. This is the build I created specifically for testing that utilizes all 3. It's not a completely optimized character, but it is at least strong enough to defeat Apocalypse Lydusa's DPS check. Throughout my testing, I found that players can utilize Shovel Step in the following ways. Escape any attacks that pull you towards the attacker. Safely dash in and out to activate the transference mutator with melee strikes. Render the attacks of projectile-focused bosses like Spectral Shahala mostly harmless. Bully every boss that has to actively chase the player down. And finally, escape Corruptor's laser from the wrong end of the arena. Of course, there's also the benefit of being able to dash through entire areas without a scratch, which brings up the question of if it's fast enough to be used for speedruns. To test this, I went to the Phelan boss arena and measured the travel time from a set starting point to the other end of the area. For minimum speed I start at this point here, but for maximum I had to start further back to account for the Deceiver Band's activation. I ran this test 3 times per method and then calculated the average for final results. What I found is that at base stats, Shovel Step ended up 10.8% faster than Light Rolling, the second fastest option. But testing again with plus 50% evade speed and plus 55% distance, Shovel Step wins again, but this time only by about 3.2%. Though this difference is negligible, in a situation where every second counts, this can be the difference between a good run and a world record. For new game speedruns, you would assume the amount of detouring and RNG required to get all the pieces, along with the constant health drain, probably rules out using Shovel Step, but I wanted to see what the speed comparison is like anyway. After a few tests, it seems you would need to achieve a movement speed of at least 45% to outpace Shovel Step. Looking at the footage of the current new game speedrun record uploaded by the player Uprush, their movement speed tends to be around 26.5%, which I found makes it equally as fast as base light roll. I've already established that base shovel step is 10.8% faster than that, so it seems it would be capable of improving speedrun times, though you'd have to get it very early and find ways to mitigate the health cost, such as using Warden as a starting class. I'm sure an experienced speedrunner could weigh in on the practicality of these findings, but it's not a field of research I care to investigate further. With that, I have shared everything I've found regarding the shovel and its secret. Though it is small and likely insignificant to most players, it is the exact type of obscure and unorthodox knowledge I enjoy searching for. If you happen to wander into my corner of the web again, I'd be happy to share more from my collection. For now though, I shall leave you with two questions. Should shovel step be left in the game despite being unintended by its developers? And would you consider it a bug or technique, given that every part of it is technically an intentional feature? Regardless, be on your way now.